And the thing you've got to, I guess, focus on here is like, what are you going to do inside the absolute value? We talked about the idea that you can factor out a 4 from both of those. Hopefully that looks familiar from yesterday. And then you remember what to do from here.
Oh, now the 1/2 absolute value of 4 times x plus 2. 6. So now we need to put below that, put -1/2 and the absolute value of 4.
Good.
So 1/2 times the absolute value of 4 times the absolute value of x plus 2
Looks good.
plus 6.
Yep. So notice,
So it'd be
notice,
-2 for
yeah, and that's important. It's not like you multiply and then take the absolute value, treat them separately.
yeah, me talking about that.
Good. And then from here, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 transformations. Be good to have you give it a try, see if there's transformations here that you,
So there is a vertical shrink of a factor of by a factor of 2.
so we'd actually say vertical stretch because it's greater than 1. You'd have to use the word
Actually,
stretch.
wouldn't it be less than 1 because it's negative?
So, okay, so the minus is not included. So like the A value does not include the minus sign. So it's if A is greater than 1, it's a stretch. If 0 less than A less than 1, it's a compress. But if it's but that negative is always kind of off to the side. Like it's outside of this discussion.
Got
So
it.
this is really good. This is really
So you can't negate the negative when you're looking for the vertical stretch or shrink.
yes, exactly. You
You
have
just
to.
look at, yeah, got it. And then another transformation would be reflection over the x-axis.
Okay. You have to specify the x-axis. That's good.
Reflection over x-axis. And then there's also wait, one second. It's left 2 units.
Okay, I agree.
And it would be up 6 units.
Okay, I agree. So now the uh the vertex is really the next thing. I know it doesn't ask for it, but I really think you want to find the vertex next. And it comes from the left, right, and the up
Yeah.
down
Ye-
transformations.
Yeah, what they showed us in class when you look at the -2 square root x plus 2 plus 6, it's the opposite of the h, which in this case is 2, and then the k stays the same. So in this case, it would just be -2 comma 6.
You got it. And the reason that's so important is it tells you information about increasing, decreasing, and the range. So -2, 6 is up here somewhere, and you can do your graph roughly. Now, if you did want to make a table, which you probably should do, that point goes right in the middle of your table, the vertex. All right, and then you go 2 smaller and 2 larger.
This would be -2, 6, -4. Got it. And you plug it in, and then we can like do this thing. So I got 4 for -3 and -1, +4, and then +2 for -4 and 0.
Okay, that sound good. And the thing is depending on your instructor, they may ask you to graph things like, and you might get this later on, x-intercepts or y-intercepts, things like that,
Yeah, and for those, you just look for the times where x is 0 and
right?
where y is
Or,
0
or putting
to.
or putting zero in, yeah. So that could be coming. All right. Now the increasing, decreasing domain range really all comes from the vertex and kind of the graph here, which I didn't even put in the vertex. But if you could give me the increasing, decreasing domain and range, that would be really, really good.
So the increasing would be here. Let me graph this really quickly. Yeah, so this would be opening down to. So increasing from -infinity to -2,
Okay, good. And it's got to be the X values.
and then decreasing from -2 to +infinity. It's
Okay.
opening down. And the domain would be -infinity to +infinity, including both, obviously. Um, and then range would be from -infinity to negative or to 6 included.
Okay. You got it.
And then J. So then the
So the piecewise, we talked about that from yesterday. You really got to get this, uh, this one kind of, figure out, okay, there's the break and there's the, um, yeah, so,
so -2x plus 2 plus 6, 2x, 2. All right. So the first one would be -2 times the absolute value of x plus 2 plus 6.
without the absolute value.
Oh yeah, the parentheses. So it'd be
Yeah, and that's important because if you put the absolute value in, you're going to get marked off. So you maybe want to make a note there that the piecewise has no absolute value.
just 2 plus 6. X plus 2 plus 1. The other one is 2 times x plus 2 plus 6.
So you're negating the whole thing though. That's where you almost want to just negate the whole thing. Maybe we'll use brackets there like that.
Uh, so it's negative. Okay. And x is less than -2. X is greater than -2. All right. Yeah, I think I get it. Um, so So this is the next question in the chat.
All right, good. Just a moment here, get that pulled up. All right, write the equation. Okay, so now we're going backwards, and um, it's easiest to actually to first try to write the function, and you do that by first determining the vertex. So could you give me the coordinates of the vertex there, please?
The coordinates of the vertex would be -2, comma, -5.
Good. Now, the absolute value function here is a absolute value x minus h plus k. So you have to be really careful how you feed in the h and the k. Okay, the h is -2, so it's x minus a -2 minus 5 like that.
Got it.
So I'm sorry, x minus a -2. So it should be absolute value x plus 2 minus 5, and then you've got an a there. Okay. There's a couple of ways to find a. One is to use the slope of the line. The other is to find another point on the graph. And so both work. The more advanced approach is to figure out the slope of this line. What do you think you guys did in class?
Mm. In class for this lesson,
Yeah, if you know, because I don't want to go off of, I don't want to do something
yeah,
totally different than.
I don't know because I was gone for this lesson.
Okay, so what I would say is that I like the slope approach, which is to figure out the rise over the run. That's kind of the better way. So it's like how many up, how many over, how many up, how many over. And it looks like you're going up one, right one each time. So that is the value of a. So in this case, the slope is the a value, which appears to be 1.
Got it. Yeah, you can see it's going up.
Okay, so
Yeah.
now that you've got the function, I want to see if you can figure out the rest of this. So I'm gonna step away, prepare my coffee while you work on this, but get as far as you can. It's probably easier now that you have the graph to figure out transformations, increase and decrease in domain range, but give that a shot, please. I'll be right back. All right, Karthik, I'm back. Let me know if you
Um,
have any of these or if you have
yeah, so
questions.
I do have a question.
Mhm.
For the absolute value function, so when we found the slope of the line, oh yeah, I was gonna ask that, yeah, would the A be the slope? So then, yeah, the A
Exactly.
would be the slope, so then,
Yes,
all right, yeah.
exactly.
So I found the increasing, decreasing the domain range. I didn't find the function first, I think it's on the absolute
Oh,
function one, which
yeah,
now
if
now I
you want to keep
understand it.
working, or you can give me the answers, whatever you want.
So I have the answers for the increasing, decreasing domain range. So increasing is -2 to infinity. And then decreasing is -infinity to -2. And then domain is -infinity to infinity. And range is -5 to infinity.
Is the -5 got a parenthesis or a bracket?
-5 is a bracket.
Okay, good.
Alright, so let me see the transformation. So we found m is equal to 1. Can you scroll down a little bit? You know, a little bit. Okay, so we got alpha equals 1. Okay, transformation. It's right 2 units. Vertical. Wait, I have a question.
Go ahead.
If it's exactly 1, would it be a vertical shrink or a vertical stretch?
It's neither. It's nothing. You don't include it. This is nothing out here. It's a good question.
Got it. All right, so I got 2 transformations, right 2 units, down 5 units.
It can't be right because if you're starting at the vertex or at the origin, going to the right would put you down where my cursor is.
Oh, I wrote down -2, so plus.
So it should be left
Yeah,
2 units. It's really
okay, yeah,
easy to make that mistake.
yeah, I just wrote down the wrong sign for that, so it would be left 2 units and then down 5 units.
Right. And these are always positive numbers. Like you don't tell someone you go -5 streets up. You always say it's 5 houses up, or pick up, I don't know, 5 units, or put it down 3. You don't say up -3. These are always positive.
Got it. And then the piecewise function, it would be f of x equals x plus 2. Wait, if it's 1, do you still need to include the 1, or can you make it and put
You
x?
can leave, you don't have to have anything there. You can just leave it as x plus 2 minus 5.
Mhm.
What's necessary though is the x, greater than, less than over there on the right.
Yeah, which this would be x greater than negative x greater than 1, x less than negative bracket 1. All right, I got the function. Um, yeah, so then the x would be greater than 1
Can't be 1.
there.
It's the vertex. It's always the x coordinate of the vertex.
So,
the H value.
oh, so it's greater than -2,
Good.
and x is less than -2 for the bottom one. And then
Right.
for the bottom equation, it would be negative brackets inside 1 in parentheses x plus 2 minus 5.
Your teacher probably wants that fully simplified,
Oh yeah, then
meaning
you would do. The meaning would
meaning
just
it should
put
look
the
like negative at least x plus 2 plus 5 would be probably a good
yeah. So
idea.
then like basically get rid of the one since it anyways would just equal the same thing. Got it. Um and, and uh, and so mm, so the quiz on Tuesday, she did hand us this sheet and say, she did say all the transformations on here will be on the quiz. So let me put
Okay.
that the PDF of that sheet in the chat. So this is what she said will like all all except of the horizontal stretch or shrink will be on the quiz. She said just that one won't be on the quiz, but the vertical stretch or shrink, reflection, translate, both
Right.
types of translation.
So this is the thing you would have wanted to start out. And like, so all I can do here is, are you gonna have, I'm sorry, are you gonna have any horizontal shrinks?
No, just
How about X axis, I'm sorry, Y axis flips, which are the F. So like, we have not seen any of these. Are you going to have any of those?
um
This is the Y axis, excuse me.
any of those. 1 second. Let me see.
If you're not sure, I can throw some in, but that's
There is a problem on the notes that says f of -x minus 2. Uh, I'm not sure this is what you're talking about, but
yeah. Why don't you send it over? Because it'll help me to determine what we should put on there or not.
not sure if this is what you're talking about, but let me put it in the chat. This is problem number C of the first set of notes for this lesson, or for this unit. Um, f of -x minus 2, but let me see if there's something else that's more. There is like negative f of x, like negative and then f of x. That'd be mm, I mean, she still wants us to know that it is a flip over the y-axis because
What's the context of this? I need this stuff before the part C.
yeah, let me take a screenshot of that. So that let me just take a screenshot of the entire problems A through F. Let me put it in the chat. So here's like the context for the problem.
Is is there a graph of it?
No, it's just that. Like how it's divided.
I see, I see, I see. Okay. All right, I got it. Yeah, okay. Do
I
you,
think I think that it's kind of inferred that we would know like that f of x starts like the vertex is the origin 0, 0. So yeah, I think it's just trying is to help us or to have us identify
yeah,
or
okay.
compare it to
So
like
yeah, so let me give you a few of these that you're kind of giving me here. Just not these, but just ones like it. So let's say um -3/4 f of x plus 2. So rather than me telling you how many transformations there are, because that's kind of a hint, a cheat, if you will, I'd like you to try to list the transformations on this one. And the order does matter, but I won't make you don't have to give me, you don't have to give them to me in the order. I'll reorder them for you when you give them to me. So um,
so first this is
go ahead and get them all down, and
all
I'll check back with you in like 30 seconds or a minute.
right, let me note this down. Alright. All right. I got the three transformations.
All right. Let me know when you're
So
ready.
I got the three that are there. Reflection over the y-axis.
Okay, it's x-axis here.
Oh
X-axis.
yeah, the x-axis. Yeah. Yeah.
Small distinction, but I mean, that's the difference between the kind of the A and the B on your last quiz, that little stuff like that. So if it's on the outside, it's the
It's the
x-axis.
x-axis. Yeah.
So
And then
flashcards, Quizlet, anything like that would help.
it's a vertical shrink by 3/4, a factor of
Okay,
3/4.
okay, good.
Um, and then it's up 2 units.
Yes, up 2 units, good. Okay, any questions on that before I give you another one?
Oh, like for the order of the transformations, how would you like order in the
Yeah,
vertical
a
order?
good question. So um, the answer let me give you a problem. Um, have you seen, let me just, let's just do a absolute value. So let's say f of x is -3 absolute value x minus 1 plus 6, like that. And this has 1, 2, 3, 4 transformations. It's right one. Okay. Um, Vertical stretch 3, reflection, x-axis, and then up 6. Okay. Now, how do we know that that is the order? Is your question. That's a really important question. I'm about to answer that. We're going to answer it by f. We're going to evaluate f of 2. Okay. Tell me what you do first when you evaluate f of 2 after you put the number in.
Um, After you put the number in, then you do 2 minus 1, which is
Okay.
1,
So which transformation does that correspond to?
right 1.
Okay. So after you've done that,
You
now
multiply it.
this is where it gets a little bit like, are you multiplying by 3 or -3 or negating it? So 2 and 3 could actually be in either order. Okay,
God,
so if you put the reflection, but notice what you do next is you either multiply by 3 for the vertical stretch or you negate,
yeah,
and
and then after that you add well,
that's why that one is last.
yeah.
So the answer to your question is, and I don't even know if it's taught this way, but you're gonna get a little insight from people that do this all the time, is it's the order that you would evaluate the function in.
Got it.
So order of operations, basically. But you start learning that left and right come first, up and down come last.
Lefty.
Okay. You so where would other stuff appear? There's kind of two things that could appear here. A horizontal stretch, which you don't have. The other thing that could appear in this order is a reflection over the y-axis.
Got it.
I think I said there's like 6 transformations possible, and these are all 6 of them that you could get. The stretch compress kind of go together. The vertical shrink compress or stretch compress go together. Sometimes you shrink instead of compress. I don't know which word they use. There's only 6, but you, for whatever reason, you don't see these other 2 very often. All right. So
Got it.
try to get them in the right order, uh, but that's not what's important here. So let me give you another one here. 5f of negative x minus 3. Would you give me the transformations here?
Um, so let's see, that would be reflection over y. So it'd be a reflection over the y-axis, a stretch factor of 5, vertical
Which
stretch
which
factor,
way? Which way? You have to say vertical or horizontal. Very
vertical
important.
stretch factor of 5. Uh, and it is down 3.
Very good.
All right.
All right, so let me give you another one here. So see here. Let's go this makes it a little bit tougher. Let's go negative. Well, okay, so here's some variations on this. I could do something like this, like 6 minus f of x minus 2. Okay.
So that would be
But let me give you a hint here because I don't want you to go off in the deep end here with it being wrong. This is the other way to write this. This 6 is really like added to the end, but it's not written that way.
and then the x plus 2 would be,
Sorry, sorry. I apologize. It's a minus there.
but then the 6 minus 2, or the x minus 2, that would be the y
What point is
reflection
this?
of
The one on the left and the right are the same, but it could be presented like the one on the left here.
so the step inside the parentheses of the f of x, the x minus 2.
That's still
What
left
is
or right.
so oh, so that would still like so it's kind of like the absolute value sign.
Exactly. Yes.
Got it. So in this case it would be right 2,
Okay.
and um right 2 reflection across the x-axis, and up 6.
Got it. Okay, so let's do a few more of those absolute value ones that we've been doing, where you have to factor some stuff out. I'm gonna do one that's a little different just to see if this comes up. This might come up on your test. -3 absolute value minus 2x minus 10 plus 1. Okay, so this time, Karthik, and this is important here, you're going to factor out a -2 from both of these. You factor out whatever's leading there. Okay,
Got
so
it.
it's
So minus
-2
times
x
x.
plus 5.
Yeah.
And then you take the absolute value of each of them.
And then you get 6 on, or actually you get negative, yeah, negative
So
6
the absolute
there.
value -2 is 2. You multiply by -3, you get -6.
-6, yeah, and x plus 5, and then the plus 1.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay. So I'm gonna have you do one like this now, and I'll have you give me the transformations when you're all done. But I want you to work through kind of manipulating it like this. So do you need any more? Do you have this down, or do you want to? Do you have any? You need to get this down, or do you have it in your notes?
I need to get that back 1 second.
Okay, or I can scroll up if needed.
So
You know when you have this down.
yeah, I have it down.
Okay,
I'm just
so
doing
here's
it.
one for you to try. K of x equals 4 absolute value minus let's see here, 5x minus 15 plus 2. So go ahead and rewrite it and then come up with the transformations for me, please. I'll be
All
right back.
right. All right, I got it. Yeah, I got the, oh yeah.
All right, Karthik, how are you doing on this one?
Good. I got the transformations now. Um, so I got k of x equals 20, absolute value x plus 3 plus 2.
Okay, perfect.
And
Now,
then
can you give me the transformations?
I got left 3 vertical stretched by 20 and up 2.
Perfect. Okay. All right, good. So we got 5 minutes left. What else should we cover today to make sure you are ready for tomorrow?
Um, tomorrow we're most likely going to do more practice on transformations and 2.3 day 1.
Okay.
Um, can here's like one of the questions, I think it's off in the notes or the yeah, talk about homework for tomorrow. This is like one of the questions. This
Okay.
is the type of questions we'll be going over for 2.3.
Yeah, good.
We're
So
gonna start
this
getting an
is
idea.
the transformations are no different than with absolute value. This one has two transformations. Forget the fact that it's a squared. We'll get to that at some point, what that means. What are the two transformations here? It's the +6 and the -2.
Yeah,
What are the transformations?
it is left 6
Okay,
and down 2.
down 2. Good. Okay, perfect. All right, now the vertex is important here. So even though it didn't ask for vertex in even though it's an absolute value, or it's like this is called a quadratic, by the way. That's what I need to say. But this still is a vertex, and it still comes from the left and left, right, or up, down. So what is the vertex on this one, if you don't mind?
The vertex would be -6 comma -2.
Perfect. Okay. Now the reason that's important is that like this graph's going to look a little different. It's got more. It's called a U-shaped graph. You'll see that tomorrow in class. We don't have enough time to talk about it, but a lot of the stuff is the same. So this increasing and decreasing is the same. If it's going up and to the right, it's increasing. Okay.
Got it.
The decreasing is the same. It's going down to the right. The domain is the same. The range is the same. So the reason they had you learn absolute values stuff is because this stuff is all the same as absolute value. The new stuff is the vertex, but we already have the vertex. Like we already have to talk about that. G of 0 is something new. We could do that now. G of 0 means to evaluate. It means evaluating at 0. Okay, so G of
Got
0
it.
means putting 0 in. So
You
it'd
just
be
plug in 0 for x and
0
then you
plus
solve
6
it.
squared. Yeah.
Which
Minus
then would just
2.
be 6 squared, and then 6 squared is like
Right.
36. 36 minus 2, 34. Yeah, got it. All right, so it doesn't seem too different than what we're doing right now. The range
Yeah.
decreasing, domain increasing, that all stays
Yes.
pretty much the same.
All right, I
Yeah,
do
so
have
the
to stop here. I need at least 1 minute to just kind of hit all the